Hello, Denko. Welcome. Hello, everybody else. Thank you for joining us. And good evening to Zibo as well, who is joining us. I'm not sure if he's here already, but welcome, Zibo. I'm sure he'll make his presence known soon enough. Right. Before we start, I'm just going to let the stream run a little bit. Hello, Rob. So we can get some numbers going. As you can see, I'm still firing up. Zibo is just as excited as I am for a stream. So it happened quickly that we decided to do this. And we'll just give it a minute or so, and then we'll do all the proper introductions and thank yous and all those things. While we are waiting, let me quickly show you what we're up to. There, the thing starts in the background, just this. I'm starting Navigraph desktop chart. So that's the flight. Palm Beach up to, that's Palm Beach, is it? Yeah, Palm Beach to Pensacola. Right. So I'm not sure how long this flight's going to be. We're just going to run it, do it. Just get my system running here. So as with all of you guys, I also had to delete and start fresh. I had to do my backups and move all the files over. Please, guys, don't take chances. Don't just go and update.
Hello, Cap. Nice to see you again. Please remember to start your ACARs.
Yeah, please don't just go and update your existing installation. Make sure you do a fresh installation. It does miracles, I promise you. Hello, Jerry. Yeah, we all appreciate it. Thank you, Denko.
I am ready for electrical power up procedure.
Yeah, just wait. I need to make sure that all the settings is still correct and working. It's a BPM only. Yeah, you just hang tight. Okay. Right, let's get rid of that one. Make sure all my buttons are working. Hello, Geert. I don't hear it, but this thing says my crew is busy cleaning. And I can't stop it. That's interesting. All right, well, we'll handle it as it comes. Right, just a quick word on this. If this does not go away, I'm sure you guys have read the Zibo install guide that I so diligently wrote already. So just make sure. What I would typically do to try and resolve this is I would go to the explain the resources. I beg your pardon, it's not resources, it's explain output. Let's have a look quickly. Explain output preferences. Yes. Let me show you guys display capture. So in this folder, output preferences, you've got a couple of Zibo files. Okay, so for those of you that never read the Zibo install guide, this is obviously new. For the old guys, it's old hat. So if you do a proper reinstall, you're obviously going to delete that, and then you're going to just have to reset up your Zibo. But basically, to get a little funny little thing away, that's usually what I do. I just delete those files, reset up the thing, and it should go away. I hope it's all that's needed. So that's just a tip from my side. Let's hide this thing again, and let's quickly get this bar going at the top. Info bar. There we go.
Evening, Nico.
Hello, Owen.
I'm going to
Welcome.
fly with.
Okay.
If I'm
Okay.
fast enough. Oh, you're on the tarmac already.
No, I'm just at the apron. Yeah, I'm busy setting up. I'm not going to rush. Okay, this is us. Zibo's watching with us. We're all just enjoying the fruits of the labor. So there's no rush. I mean, the guys can come and go on the stream as they please. We just doing our thing. You take your time. Okay. What did I want to do? I want to
Are you going to
file.
fly online or just testing the Zibo?
If you are going to fly with, let's fly online. Why not? Then we can see each other. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean because approach is online there.
On Iveo.
Yeah, a bit too busy perhaps. Yeah,
Okay.
Iveo.
Okay.
Yeah.
We don't have to fly online if you don't want to. Last call.
Hey, it's not my problem. I mean,
Okay.
you want to test that Zibo, so.
Yeah. Look, if he interferes, we'll just disconnect. That's as easy as that. But
he's busy. He's busy there because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 planes already in his area, Miami Center.
All right, then let's keep it. No, let's keep it then. Let's not go create a problem where there isn't a problem. Okay, so you're welcome to fly with. We're just not going to see each other.
No, okay.
As easy as that.
No, I just wanted to say because he's busy, he won't be interfering so much. I think.
Well, I don't know. Let's just keep it. I don't care. It's fine. Hello, Paul. Welcome. All right, let's get this show on the road. Let's see.
Oh, well, I'll just start on Iveo, see what happens.
Okay. Right though.
Pilot have a spare for takeoff, please.
Why?
You know,
all the light switches are in the wrong place. Sorry, Jorge. Didn't mean to make you work there.
Have a good flight.
Sorry, Trish. Let's put it right now. You see, because we had that crash out with the previous stream, all my light switches, everything was still in the fly mode, fly position. Rodrigo Pacheco, good evening, greetings, and other Rob, welcome. Connected, right, but will be very kind of you to put on Discord. Rob, I don't have time for that now. It's in the Zibo install guide. Just open the guide, click the link in Discord, download the guide, open it. If you want to wait, I don't mind doing it once I'm in the air because then we're going to have a lot of time. So if you can wait maybe 10, 15 minutes so I can just get in the air, I'll gladly run through it with you guys, okay? But just give me a minute or 10 to get in the air and I'll gladly help you guys. Right, all of a sudden I can actually hear all the sounds and all again. At one moment in time I thought, ooh, this is so quiet. We don't have sounds.
so the EFB is not starting with that. Do you want to start that saved flight? Huh?
Well, maybe you don't have a saved flight. Maybe it cleared it out when it started up, It's supposed to be a fresh install.
Yeah, it's new, of course, yeah.
Yes. $32,000.
That's a smart one.
Yeah, let's see. Landing altitude. We have a very weird approach here, by the way, anyway. So
yeah, I saw that, yeah.
These trains were turning the wrong way. Alright, okay. So this seems to be going well. Oh. sun is menace.
You're not even on the Skymatix VA cars.
I am connected. I should be
Oh,
there. You
okay.
should be able to see me.
Oh, okay.
But just zoom in because it might display the two of us
Saw
on
that.
top of each
Yeah,
other. Yeah,
Saw that. Yeah, sorry.
no problem. Right, then left. Just make sure that is correct. Light. We're going to do ILS 17, then non-transition. It's a strange one. Let me show you guys that one. It's a weird one. Look where we come in. And by the way, this is the real world route I got from Flight Aware just now, right? So you come in this way, there's none. Gonna fly down there, gonna turn around, come back, and then land. So we're in for a bit of an approach there.
I find it a nice approach.
Yeah, I think so. It's different. It's really different.
Ground to flight deck, fuel is all loaded up and you are good to go.
Okay. Looks okay to me. Right. Do that. That should bring the taxi. There we go. Tax boarding.
Just as a reminder, we cannot leave the gate until carrying items are properly put away. All overhead bins are closed and all the passengers are seated.
That is, wow. Somebody likes to take us far out, man.
Ready for pre-flight procedure.
It's really hot in the cabin, they say.
Yes. Yeah, I've got my air starter unit already on, pumping air inside because I knew it was going to go. That's a nice little script Antonio put together.
Yeah.
Rodrigo Pacheco, no, not a word. Not a word. When we know, you'll know. Right, okay, I see we have quite a few people on board. I'm also now obviously waiting for everything to load. So while we have this time, let me please take this moment and thank Zibo and Twkster for what they did in this model. Thank you guys. Thank you Zibo for all the coding and Tim for all the flight model work. Guys, we really appreciate you. Without you, we can't do anything. You know, you are the cornerstone of everything. And we're going to definitely enjoy flying this version of the Zibo as we do all of them. So I'm looking forward to trying it out. And thank you, Zibo, for joining us. I'm not sure if Twkster is watching, but Twkster, if you are, and you watch it later, a special thank you to you too. Thank you for everything you guys do. Hope you enjoy the flight with us. So I can just start this APU. This will get that going. I just noticed something. I don't think you guys heard that guy speak. Check this audio setup mic. No. That's the one you will hear him speak at. Let's see if you can hear him. Thank you so much. I'm sure we're going to enjoy this flight. Hope you guys enjoy it with us.
Is that the ground marshal you heard talking, Nico?
No, with the pushback. With the pushback.
Oh, okay.
Right, 81%. You're almost there. Set up the MCP. Continued with the headings. We're looking for 99. Hello, Andrew. Air manager is the only way that I know of. I've never seen any other way of doing it, eh? You need, for the route on the map, you need to have the latest Avitab beta from the developer. So go search for it on the org forum. I think it's 604 or something, don't quote me on it, but it's the latest beta version. Once you have the latest beta version, you need to download the FMS plans. You know, the old Explain 12 FMS plan into your company root folder, and then you can just import it directly as I did there. Right, so that is done.
Ground the cockpit, toes driving up.
Let's see if we have life. We have life. Right, okay, let's go to the APU. Right, go. Before start procedure.
Before start procedure.
All doors and hatches are closed, ready to connect.
Before start procedure complete.
Tow connected, bypass pin inserted, release parking brake.
Okay, going to do it immediately. I need to know, Owen, how far are you?
I'm nearly ready to start my APU.
All right, okay.
I need to request IVR clearance first. Wait a minute.
Okay. We don't have the CG, that's why she's not doing.
Ready for before start checklist. Trim up.
Oh, there she goes. She remembers. Thank you, Linda. I think something. Oh, heck. We've got diesel in the tank, Zibo. Look at that.
Why do you say that?
Look at. Oh, I'm not streaming. Hold on, let me stream.
Whoops.
Hello, Scotsman.
I'll have a look. Is your engine running or your APU?
APU. APU.
Starting pushback.
Oh yeah, I got the same here. Oops.
You know.
I'm not allowed to fly this way.
Good
Ground
help is.
personnel is shouting at me.
Good help is difficult to find sometimes. Start number 2
Let's hope-
engine.
Let's hope it's only the APU, huh?
We'll see now. Start number 2 engine.
Starting number 2 engine.
Scotsman, it's a long story, but it started at the bar when an Afrikaner walked in. And the next moment, you know, he got himself a Grand Cru guy and he thought the guy was worth it. And, you know, obviously he wasn't the best choice. But anyway. Zibo, sorry, Zibo, let me get to you. Yes.
25 and 2.
Zibo says he'll look at the particle effect for the APU. Thank you, Zibo.
So Nico,
Mm.
that Central, Miami Central,
Starting cutout.
his info is Miami Center controls the airspace above 6,000 MSL over the Bahamas. What does he mean by
Oh.
that? Only Bahamas?
It looks like it, yes, then he doesn't interfere with us.
But look at that. The area is it's a huge area he's controlling. In fact,
yeah,
he-
but it could just be the way it's drawn. Mm.
Yeah, he means to say only 6,000 MSL and then over the Bahamas
Set
only.
parking brake.
Okay.
Mm.
So I won't
Don't worry
ask you
about it.
for an IFR clearance.
Well, you might just confirm with him that
Yeah,
you
I'll
interpret it correctly.
Yeah.
Start number 1 engine.
Starting number 1 engine. Twenty-five and 2.
Hey guys, how are you doing?
Fine in you?
Good as well. Yeah, just a quick question, guys. Do you use ZHASI software, like for Windows?
Not
Clubhouse?
me. Yeah, not me
Oh.
personally.
Okay.
Starter cutout. Engine start procedure complete.
If you need any support on that, the best person to speak to would be Duncan himself. Just go on their Facebook page and just ask him directly for any support. Do you have their Facebook address? Before taxi procedure.
Before taxi procedure.
Yes, that's what I said. What is this guy doing? Why is he not disconnecting? Oh. There it takes it now.
Disconnecting tow, stand by.
Before taxi
Oh,
procedure complete.
I hope my switch isn't breaking.
I am ready for
I don't know if you
before
heard it. I
taxi
flicked it
checklist.
about 3 or 4 times before it took the parking brake. I already lost one switch on this Bravo. If this one goes as well, it's on to the next one. No, it seems to work now. Don't know what the problem was. Thank you, Linda.
Tow is disconnected, bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal on the left, we'll see you next time and have a safe flight.
And thank you for your service. Before we go
Ready for
further,
before taxi procedure.
let's get this thing calibrated. Right, though. Let's go.
Taxi lights on.
Thank you, Linda. How's it, Krister? First flight, yes, sir. This is the new full version of Zibomod, version 4.02. Full. So you know what to do, right?
Well, I've got clearance, Nico.
Okay.
I'm in his airspace full, he said. So
Okay.
that mentioning was not right.
Okay. See? Pays to just ask.
Yeah.
Approaching 3, 2.
I'm not live on highway, so I'm not worried about traffic and anything. It's just me and my lonesome self. Zibo, just a quick comment. The taxi feels much better I don't know if that runaway effect, it's like the friction is really nice now. Whether it's now the airport or the aircraft, I don't know, but I'm mentioning it to you. Because in the previous 1 or 2 versions, I did notice some portions of the taxi, it feels like you've got a turbo on it. It just wants to run away. Before takeoff procedure.
Before takeoff procedure. Cabin crew, take your seats, prepare for takeoff.
Hey Attila, welcome.
Before takeoff procedure complete.
Thank you.
Ready for before takeoff checklist.
Before takeoff checklist.
Before takeoff checklist. Flaps.
Flaps 5, green light.
Flaps 5 set, green light, detent. Stabilizer trim. 5-7 units set.
Approaching.
Transponder.
10 left.
TARA set. Before takeoff checklist complete.
On runway.
I am ready for takeoff.
10 left.
Stabilized.
Toga, let's go.
Yeah, you have a good
Thrust
flight
set.
then, you go.
Thank you, you too, Owen. Ooh, getting a bit of a hiccup there. Add a hiccup, it's gone now.
80 knots. Throttle hold. V1. Rotate. Positive rate.
Oh, that's a lovely takeoff. Feels so lovely. That's really nice. Very stable, wow.
Acceleration altitude. Flaps 1 set.
I can feel how the controls change when those flaps are no longer in play, huh? It's amazing. Okay. I'm happy.
Flaps up and set.
For me also, smoking APS. Yeah, Rob, Zibo said he will look at the particle effect. There must be a little discrepancy, a little issue there. He'll fix it, as we know. Ooh. Yeah, pull your sliders to the right. If you go to your graphics, those first three, make sure they're in full resolution. Those first three are usually the ones controlling the sharpness.
I'm expecting a route deviation, Nico, because of the weather.
Okay, well, I've just climbed through the clouds, so depending on how your system or your ATC sees the storm, I don't see it.
Flight level 100. Landing lights switches off.
That looks so nice, wow. I've just enabled my weather here in Navigraph. Owen, if you can look on YouTube, you'll see it. There's some storm activity for sure, but I seem to have climbed over them.
Okay. I'll keep you informed what he says to me.
Yeah. Jerry, then you're doing something wrong. You must be doing something wrong. You can watch this video. It worked for me perfect. Check everything. Check your lights. Check your parking brake. Check everything because it must work. Unless your gate is not recognized as a gate by the Zibomod. Okay, so let's talk about this installation. Right, let's talk about this installation. We said once I'm in the air, we're going to talk about that. So let's quickly recap. If you want to do a full reinstall, because obviously this is a full new release, the recommendation is that you make a backup of your Zibomod or just move it as a backup to your desktop. Get rid of it, in other words, delete it. And then you start fresh with a new installation. Okay. Hello, Alex. Welcome. Everybody happy? Yes, sir. Yeah, no, we're all good. So let's start with the hidden files that you will only know if you actually read the install guide. So there we go. In your output preferences, you've got 3 files, those 3 ones that you can delete. Okay, highly recommended. Just start over, reconfigure your Zibomod. If you're lazy and you don't want to do it, I don't think there's a problem leaving them, you know, but if you really want to be thorough, they need to go as well. Okay, then, like I say, obviously in your aircraft, in your folder, you need to keep stuff like your X camera, you need to keep your liveries, you need to keep in plugins. I've got Linda that I need to keep. And then if you guys do not use X camera, if you are using the default camera system, you need to save your preferences file as well. No, my eye is not seeing it. I just need to pick up on it. There we go. That's the one. All right. And if you have a 4K version, you'll take the 4K version. So those are the files that you need to back up. All right. But like I say, just drag and drop this thing. Get it out of the explained folder system. Put it on your desktop. Then you can go back and scavenge it, you know. Go copy and paste or cut and paste from it as you go on, because I mean, like I say, I use my liveries, Linda, and then obviously those 2. And that's all I keep. If you're not using X camera, that one is important as well. I hope that helps you guys a little bit. But please, guys, listen, we've done this 1,000 times already in the last 7.5, almost 8 years. December, it's going to be 8 years. It's always better to just start over when you get a full new release. Always better. It takes, care of a lot of stuff. Hello, SK-san, welcome. Thanks for joining us. So far, so good, eh?
Yeah, here as well. I'm not sure what he was talking about, but I'm keeping the runway heading, as he said, climbing through 6,000, but I've got beautiful weather.
Yeah, but I'm not sure if Aurora actually gives the altitude of the storm. He might just see a storm cell on his scope and then he's trying to help you, I don't know if he's able to discern altitudes because, we're above it, definitely. There seems to be nice activity down there.
Oh yeah, climb and maintain 6,000.
All right.
Oh, there's the storm front and right in front of me.
Yep.
He's going to push me right through if he keeps this heading.
Climb. Yeah, your scope is lit up, eh?
Yeah. It's completely red. And if I had done that departure, I would left it on my right side, that front.
Yes. Yeah.
You see that on my screen, or can't you
yes,
see
I
my?
see. How much?
Yeah. You see that?
In fact, I'm
1000
trying
level
to
up.
actually.
Look at that.
Yeah, I'm trying to share it with the people here on the stream as well. Why is it not picking up? Discord there, Irony. There you go. So that's Erwin's screen, the one that's now showing us all the red there. Yeah.
So if I had taken that
departure,
you
he would
that?
have been better. Yes.
Look at that.
Yeah.
And if he had pushed me to 360, then that was okay. But
climb,
we'll see what happens.
climb. It looks like you're going over the top.
It goes over, yeah. There's something above me. as well.
I see. I love these new clouds. They're also spectacular with xEnviro.
So direct T, Birdie said. That's in fact through that cloud, huh?
Check your flaps, Owen.
Hey, thanks, Nico.
Okay.
Thanks, co-pilot. That's new.
I'll send you an invoice just now.
Yeah.
Rodrigo, I'm using a alpha developer build that's not available to the public. This was the last build I got from Andre before he went on his little tour in the real world. So I'm waiting for him to come back, and then he'll probably continue with the development and release for you guys. But this is a in-house alpha build thing. Excellent, Jerry, excellent. Yeah, look at this cloud. Yeah.
Yeah, I completely forgot to load my Orbx.
Yeah, you were in a bit of a hurry. It doesn't matter, man.
Yeah.
It's okay. God, we missed that cloud a little bit. Yeah, Zibo, so far so good. I mean, this thing is stable. It's really nice. There's nothing I can comment bad about it. Yeah.
Hello.
Nothing. Hello, Pavel.
Oh, you are flying. You are flying Zibo, yeah?
Of course.
Can you change in FP the light strobe or not one second.
Type it for me. It's easier if you type it, Pavel. But I can't change much now because we're busy doing our own flight now. So we'll see how much I can and how much I cannot do.
Okay, I have controls for munition.
Okay.
Can you go AFP now?
What do you want in the AFB?
Go to settings.
Yeah.
where you have. Can you click display variants? Can you back? Can I config? Next page. Are you looking for the lights?
Which lights? The cabin lights or the external lights? Which lights?
I mean the lights through.
It's a good question. Now, where would they be? I think it's in the exterior. There.
Oh, can you change? Can you change long LED strobe? No, it's possible.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then?
Okay, thanks. And change night.
Yeah, you're not going to see much about night now, but we'll see. So you want night, right?
Yeah, for I mean night for the weather, world night.
No, I can't change now because I'm busy flying.
Because change time for the.
Yeah. No. We can do that after the flight. Let's finish the flight and then we can play with it. What do you want to see about the strobe lights? Because the only difference is just the time it's going to be lit. So, I mean, what else do you want to see? There, you can clearly see the strobe lights. They're flashing. And they're short.
You can change for night in the extra?
No, because no? I'm busy doing a flight now for the VA, and then I'm gonna mess up my whole flight, then I have to do it again. We can do it after I land and after I've logged my flights and stuff.
Okay, understand.
Okay. Hey, there's the turbulence, you see? Now we're getting some of that updraft. I don't think there's anything wrong with the strobe lights. Pavel, why do you want to change it?
Once again?
I'm asking, why do you want to change it from long to short?
Because I check for the strobe.
Okay, but I mean, surely you can do that in your own Zibo?
I fly now PMDG 737.
Oh, so now you want to compare the two? Is that what you're looking for?
Wait a second.
Hey Pavel, there's nothing wrong with the strobe in the Zibo.
Yeah. One is just fast and the other one is slow.
If there is something wrong, it's the PMDG.
Tell him, Owen, tell him. We'll check it out when we land.
Yeah, why would he check that? That strobe light is perfect.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, he's just asking.
Let him show him my stream.
Yeah, well, you can see your stream. You must just log in there.
Oh yeah, you can log in my stream, Pavel. It's okay. That strobe light.
Okay, I'm looking for.
Good day, Nico.
How's it, Mac?
Not so bad. Looking at the moment, you're at a fairly low cruise level.
Yes.
In view of the problems we had with the other version, Is there any way you can go to a higher cruise level just to check out the climb capabilities?
No problem at
Yeah.
all, Mac. There is no problem there.
Well,
Okay,
let's go.
fair
Let's
enough.
go.
It's completely solved. That was an issue in the 40.
That's fine, but let's go. Okay, I'm going to 36, Mac.
Yeah, that's fine.
Climbs like a beast.
There you go.
Yo.
Climbs like a beast, John.
It does indeed.
This version, super.
Yep.
I'm airborne and no problem.
Who knows, Scotsman? You're gonna go have to test it, because obviously I'm testing it with xEnviro, and the other guys are gonna have to test it with explain real weather.
I've got standard real weather.
Okay, and you're stable.
Active sky.
All right, so there we go. We've got
so
three
we
guys.
have all three.
Yeah, flying the same flight with 3 different weather engines.
And I've got the only right one.
Oh, okay.
The standard X-plane. It's super these days.
Okay, so you know what to look out for. Look for those dips, the instant climbs and instant descents, and in the discrepancies in the barrow.
Yeah.
So just have a look. And also the rocking and the rolling.
Uh-huh.
Hey guys.
Hey.
Hello.
Just a quick question. Do you know, is there any chance that I can integrate Explain 11 Zibo flight dynamic into Explain 12?
No. No, it's not compatible. No.
Oh, I see.
Equity, is that how we pronounce your name now? Hello, welcome. The development of Zibo in 11 has not stopped. We just don't have time for it, okay? Zibo's got a few plans. He wants to upgrade the engines and a couple of other things there. He wants to bring it more up to standard. Now, obviously, there are a lot more capabilities in 12. Some of the stuff is not compatible. It can't go back into 11. But he said he wants to do at least one more update in 11, okay, before calling it quits. All right, so there is hope.
Everything's pretty good, just the flight dynamic with the one engine, it's so unrealistic, like GTA 5 or something like that, just a regular video game. I would say like Explain 11 is still way better.
Well, this is a new flight model, and they're working on it now, so check it out. Hello, Andrew. Yeah, lots of aircraft experience the rocking and rolling and stuff after Explain 12.1, eh? It wasn't just the Zibo. Box. Uncle John, you're okay?
Yeah, I've got up too early, I think, again, Nico.
Okay.
Need to get a decent night's sleep.
If you want to report bugs, put it on the forum. That's the only place we look for bugs, really. Just put it on the forum. And I'm not talking Facebook. Facebook is not the forum. I'm talking the org forum, the official Zibo forum.
Yeah, there's no shortcut.
Yeah. So, Mac, I climbed to 36, no problem, huh?
Yeah, fine.
Okay. Guys, just as a matter of interest, the flight model is a work in progress. Okay, so Zibo made it clear this afternoon that this is just now version 1 of the new version of the flight model. So things are changing and will change. Equity, Zibo reads all the stuff. Whether he puts it number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or number 100 in his list of things to do, that's something I don't have control over. Zibo is in control of that. So if there is a real bug, if it is actually a bug, he'll obviously attend to it. So in his time.
Good evening, everybody.
Hallo.
Hey, goedenavond, Wim.
People have got to realise that 11 is at each day.
Yeah, 11 is at each day. You're going to have to update sooner or later anyway.
Yeah.
How's that, Christer?
Good while it lasted.
Beyond detain, just one question. Are you using the yoke advanced setting with the Zibo flight model, or are you using it without that and then you still have to do your own curves using the X-plane version of the curves and controls?
Yeah, I guess just I never change it. So I mean, I use the X-plane 11 just for my recurrent sim training in the real life. So it's still more realistic, I would say, like level D simulator. But X-plane 12 is, I mean, you don't even need to apply a rudder. It just feels like you're landing with a crosswind, and that's it.
Well, this is why I'm asking. This is why I'm asking. If you're using the new way that we're doing things, okay? I mean, it's level D all the way. There's nothing weird and funny about it. But you have to use the advanced yoke settings, and you have to have linear curves, and you have to use the Zibo way of doing things. You know, cutting out a lot of the X-plane fluff. So you have to check according to the manual, you know, which one you're using, and then just setting it up and trying it again. Because if you're flying it the way I do, I mean, this is super realistic.
So where's the manual? Is it on the forum or?
Yeah, you can just look in Skymatix info or Zibo info here in Discord, and then look for the Zibo install guide. I put everything in there. So it's imperative that when you use the Zibo way of doing things, you have to do Zibo way of doing things. If you want to use your own curves, you have to have the Zibo switch off. So otherwise what happens is the two systems clash with each other, and then it goes cockeye, haywire. You know?
Okay, got it. All right, cool, thank you.
No worries. And if you get stuck, if you get stuck, obviously come back and let us help you, you know, but don't just assume, you know, let's try and sort it out for you.
Yeah, got it. Thank you.
Okay. Bim?
How about the update, Nico? Is it okay?
Yeah, so far so good. The only issue we've picked up thus far is the particle system on the APU. It looked like we were using diesel.
Okay.
Yeah, we probably were, but, you know, it's us, Uncle John. You know, we do silly things.
We do.
Yeah, that looked really impressive, Wim. Like the Ultrabans from Poland.
That's funny.
We had it before, once, a very long time ago.
There's no Polish.
Remember, Nico?
Yeah. Well, Scotsman, it is in my Google Drive in the same folder as you get the Zibo downloads. It's only Zibo that does not have my Zibo install guide in his Google Drive. but it's literally just there. And I mean, it's in every official place. It's in the Zibo pilot group in Facebook. It's in Discord in 2 places like I've mentioned, and it's in the forum. So I hear you, but it's not that difficult to find it. And if you type into Google Zibo install guide, it's the very first hit. I mean, you can't miss it. It's readily available. I need to fix my X camera. This is really annoying me. Why is it out?
I installed the new update, but take a look at the Zibo user video, Nico. I have a video of a couple of seconds. You can make a laugh of it.
Okay, well, not now. I'll have a look later. We were all laughing at the APU anyway already. That thing has changed.
Yeah, I had the same thing. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Zibo said that he'll have to check. He'll have to check the particle system.
Yeah, I thought it blew up.
Yeah. Okay, I think this is where it went haywire. Let me go try and put this back into place. We were joking. We were saying we had diesel in there. So, like I said already, you know, it's just our laugh we had. I'll have to get this alignment better. Okay.
Good night. Okay, guys, I go.
Bye, Pavel.
Good night.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
I know, Scotsman, but that's up to Zibo. I mean, he needs to decide whether he wants to put it in there or not. And I think he doesn't put. I can't think for him, but I'm just thinking out loud that maybe he's not putting it in there because he didn't make it. I made it. You see what I'm saying? So I don't know. If you go onto the forum and you look at the actual download section that Zibo made, he does mention it in there. You know, so I don't know, man. It's up to him. Andrew, I use beta pushback every time, even in this flight. I don't have that issue. Are you sure you're on the latest version? Are you updating via the Skunkcraft updater? Are you sure you've got the right one? Skunkcraft updater. Scotsman, speak to Zibo. If you can convince him to do it, I'm happy. I don't have a problem with it.
Zibo was really quick with his answer this afternoon, Nico, on the Discord.
Yes, yes.
I forgot what during the last morning flight we had a discussion about the option of descent now, and we all forgot it, and he answered to it directly.
Okay.
So
yes, that was nice. I saw that. Yeah. Hello, Twkster. Ladies and gentlemen, Twkster is in the house. Good evening.
Hello, Nico.
How are you?
I'm doing just fine.
Good, good. Thank you for the new flight model.
Thank you, sir.
Well, that obviously is, you've already reported, is a work in progress, but it's directly a result of Zibo wanting to solve some other issues, and in the process we discovered that we could figure out how to do that. I don't like to speak for Zibo specifically, but there were, let's just say we had a breakthrough with the laminar fuselage model that previously we weren't able to solve, and that allowed us to solve some other issues along the way that had to do with objects in X-plane. But at the same time, it needed to fly well, and As you know, for quite some time now, we were using an experimental fuselage that I was developing even back in X-Plane 11 before Laminar came up with their experimental fuselage. So this flight model actually uses the Laminar fuselage tuned by myself, but we're still working on that because this is the product of about 8 hours of work yesterday. That's all.
Okay. Well, thank you anyway. We really appreciate it.
Big time.
Well, we hope it works out very well, and it will just take a little while for us to go through an entire tuning. Obviously, there's a lot of flight testing that has to be done in order to address all of the myriads or thousands of different possibilities that you have within a flight simulation. So what you're seeing right now is the product of, like I say, only 6 or 8 hours worth of work, and about 4 or 5 test flights by myself and some tuning. So, and of course, Zibo had to integrate all of that with his automatic flight control system. So,
yeah,
it's promising so far.
Yeah, I like it. I had a beautiful takeoff. I was flying extra minute or 2 by hand. I'm happy.
Oh, good. I know that Zibo is happy anytime you're happy.
Good. He said he's watching. I'm not sure if he's watching the whole flight, but he said he was watching. So, yeah, cool.
Now, it was actually a surprise to myself. Without going into a lot of details, Zibo asked me to take a look at if we could do something with the laminar fuselage. And to be very honest, with my past experience with it, I was not very hopeful at first, but I agreed to take a look at it. And fortunately, we discovered something that previously was an unknown way to deal with figuring out how to tune that fuselage, because when Laminar first released it, there were no instructions on how we might use it other than just use it. And, and as you're well aware, it just didn't work at first. It was very draggy, and you couldn't tune Mach drag, and there were just a lot of issues. However, yesterday I discovered some ways that I could deal with that. And fortunately, it seems to be working well so far.
Excellent. That's good news.
Can I just add an input in here?
Yeah.
Remember the other day when you had problems with the wet runway with a crosswind?
Yes.
I was wondering whether Twkster was familiar with that problem, and whether that anything he's done will have affected it.
I don't know. Twkster?
Actually, the only, and I'm not familiar with what the issue was that you had. Did it have to do with runway coefficient? Was the airplane not staying on the runway?
Exactly. Yeah, the wind was blowing me completely off the runway, and nothing I did. Turning into the wind, kicking opposite rudder, it just didn't keep me on the runway. I just went off. I eventually had to use ailerons to kind of scrape the wing to get back on the runway and then take off. It was crazy.
Yeah, how much wind did you have?
24 knots on the side.
Yeah, I was going to say it was within limits.
Yeah, it was 24 knots.
That's why I'm asking, because the limits change when you have a reduced runway coefficient.
Yeah.
So if you've got a wet runway or an icy runway, obviously those crosswind limits are reduced.
Yes. Yeah. It was definitely wet.
It wasn't a direct crosswind, it was a component of a crosswind.
Yeah.
So I think we were within limit. But what we didn't know was whether it was the CFG of the aircraft wasn't quite far enough forward, and there was a period where people were saying that for takeoff they were having to use a different stab trim setting compared with what was being computed in the FMC or the EFB, and or whether it was a laminar problem and that the coefficient of the water, the friction, was unrealistic. In other words, it was too light a contact area.
Yeah, because Twkster.
By the way, what needs to be mentioned is all real-life flights were cancelled, Mac.
Yeah, that's true. But now, one of the things I did also mention at the time was it was like the aircraft was very slippery. It was like the friction on the ground just wasn't the way it should be. It was just very slippery.
Exactly. Yeah. That was what I was getting.
That could be, and I did not see the flight. I guess I could go back and take a look at it, but there are different issues that are brought up here that that can be factors and this is true in real life professional 6DOF simulators too, where I've seen where a technician has gone in and tried to update an airport model, for instance, and the actual coefficient factors for the runway itself, in other words, what are its characteristics as far as coefficient of friction, those are easily messed up if somebody, for instance, puts down a new layer on top of a previous layer for the runway. The next thing you know, you can have an airplane sliding around like it's on ice skates. And this could happen in a real simulator just as it does in our desktop simulator. So indeed, whenever Laminar releases a new model that may have addressed anything to do with airport surfaces, or something got broken in the process accidentally, it can be related to the airport surface itself. Now, if it was a modeling problem, i.e., the flight, the dynamics that work with airport surfaces, if that was a general problem, obviously it would exist on all airports, or most airports. But if it is a problem with the way the individual airport was modeled, then it would only occur at that one airport, for instance.
Yeah.
So, and of course, the other possibility is that it does have to do with the coefficient of friction in the Zibomod, the way it's modeled in the landing gear. But to be honest, we've had that resolved for quite some time, and I don't know if Zibo has made any changes that I'm unaware of, but by and large, the coefficient of friction has been worked out for the different runway conditions in Zibo for quite a while. So we haven't, as far as I know, we haven't made any major changes there. I certainly have not.
Twkster?
So, yeah.
Twkster, I think the part of our concern is the fact that was the first flight in Explain 12.1. Like a half an hour after it was released, kind of a thing. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we were wondering as well whether Laminar didn't do a change.
Yeah, and that could be it. Like I say, it could be something to do with the Laminar. As you well know, over the years, Laminar has always said that they're the most accurate, realistic, and they have a reputation that's good in that way, but they still have problems occasionally they discover. As you're well aware, we've figured out there have been things in the Laminar basic aerodynamic model that were broken for a long time. We still have issues, for instance, with turbulent winds, gusts, wind shear, things like that. I'm not saying that's broken, but we have discovered things that were never modeled. For instance, up until a few years ago, there was no flight model. There was no modeling for the fuselage in the flight model, and obviously it's an object which is it has properties, right? It has inertia, it has it has side forces, it has a lot of impact on the way an aircraft flies. And up until the experimental model came along, and my own experimental, which I happen to say came before Laminar even introduced their idea of one, that, you know, you have to model the fuselage. It's an airfoil. It's an object which is part of the aircraft that affects flight. And Laminar, for the longest time, wasn't modeling it at all.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's a major omission. I'm not saying that to be critical of Laminar, but, you know, things get discovered over time and then get fixed and they get improved. And Laminar, fortunately, decided to address that, but that only happened a few years ago, as you recall.
I think there was limitations for Laminar with how much they could compute and keep the FPS going and all the rest of it, but because computers have become a lot more powerful, they can introduce a lot more calculation into their flight model.
Well, you know, about 3 to 4 months, I can get the exact timing, before Laminar announced that they were looking at this, I came up with my own, and up until this flight model release right here, in both X-Plane 11 and X-Plane 12, for the last, since before X-Plane 12, because I did it in X-Plane 11, we were using my own airfoil-based fuselage that had lift and drag dynamics, and it had all of the things, characteristics that we wanted. And that was introduced before Laminar even did it, and it really helped solve not all the problems, but most of the problems that had to do with stability of the aircraft, yaw control, and things like that. So it served us well, but if this current fuselage functions well, the Laminar fuselage, and I'm able to tune it for the characteristics that we need, and flight testing will determine that. You know, I'll do extensive flight testing in all phases of flight to see how it's reacting. But right now, so far, it looks pretty good and it looks promising. And we'll be saying bye to my old experimental flight model, which has served us well for the last couple of years.
It certainly has.
Yeah. So, you know, it's amazing how many things get affected when you make one major change, right? That's one of the parts that's the beauty of the way X-Plane works, is it's still, you know, a bunch of computations, right? Ones and zeros. But the reality of it is this is the only simulator I'm aware of that, instead of using lookup tables, actually tries to model flight dynamics and you know, actual atmospheric physics. And for that reason, I'm no genius. I'm not a programmer. Zibo is a genius with programming and scripting. I'm ignorant of that stuff. I'll be honest about it. But when it comes to the flight model, I can actually take my experience as a pilot and I can apply that to the flight dynamics. And Laminar provides a way for me to do that. If I was doing this in Microsoft Flight Simulator, it's a whole different game, because they don't use, you know, I can't look at a particular airfoil surface like the stabilizer and say these are the kind of forces I need based on experience with real flight, and just program it directly by choosing parameters that are preset by Laminar. So really, mostly what I do when I create the flight model is there's no programming involved. It's all tuning. You know, it's all tuning, and then occasionally coming up with some solutions that are original based on the results of experimentation. But the bottom line, most of it is you have to give credit where it's due, and that is that Laminar has provided a basis for to be able to model an aircraft pretty damn accurately.
Very nice, very nice. Twkster, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
I've heard it say by one or two guys already that they're a little bit concerned about the breakaway thrust when they need to start taxiing. Okay, is that something that you can tune, or is that in Zibo's corner that he needs to just look at that? Because sometimes it just feels like we need a little bit excessive thrust just to get the wheels turning, and sometimes it's like you just take the brakes off and then it just starts rolling.
And that's all a function of inertial mass.
Okay.
Right? If you got an aircraft that weighs 75 tons, that's one thing. If you have an aircraft that weighs 55 tons, those are almost extreme opposites, right?
Yeah.
So a 55-ton aircraft, as soon as you release the brake at idle, it's going to start rolling. An aircraft at 75 tons is going to need some significant breakaway thrust in order to get the mass moving. And once the mass is moving, then the aircraft will taxi much easier. And this is true of all real-world aircraft.
No, I get that. I do get that. It's just that every now and then it's like, there is this little question mark that just pops up, So apart from giving an actual example, which I can't give right now, I was just wondering if that is something that you would look at or Zibo would look at, just to maybe just check the numbers, if I can say that.
And recently, when it comes to, a coefficient, obviously the amount of idle thrust we have is one of the factors, along with the weight of the aircraft. But then the other one, the final one, is wheel and tire coefficients. All right. And Zibo's worked with that a lot. He's able to do the tuning on that without any input from me. Rarely do I look at that stuff anymore. Back in the beginning, I used to do more of that, but I don't. Mostly I stick with, the flight dynamics, i.e. from the time we push the throttles up and start going down the runway till the time we roll out.
Gotcha.
Those are the things that I'm looking at as far as the aerodynamic effects.
Okay. No, that answers the question. Yeah, that answers the question. Okay.
But like I say, there's so many things, you have to ask questions of, what are the conditions? Am I on a slightly sloped uphill ramp? That's one of the factors. Sometimes it's not even obvious that you're on a slight slope. It might be 0.5%, and that's enough to make a difference when the aircraft is moderately heavy. It can be sometimes you're sitting in a parking position and you got a 15-knot headwind blowing. Does that make a difference? It sure damn does.
Oh, of course.
Right?
Of course.
Because you've got that resistance based on the headwind to break away. So there's so many factors you have to look at individually to say, okay, now what were the actual conditions and how did it act? And then based on the conditions, then we can determine whether we got a problem cat or not. Yeah. Looks like you're about to start on top of the center.
Sorry,
Does
that was
answer your question, Ego?
Yes, yeah, 100%. Twkster was just breaking up at the very last moment there for me, but yeah, no, that does answer my questions. Rodrigo, okay, that's very interesting. Look on the stream, guys. Rodrigo, I didn't know you were a 777 pilot. That's very interesting. Awesome.
Well, that looks okay, yeah?
Yeah, I'm happy. I saw one altimeter bounce in the whole flight where it went like very high and had to come back. There might have been more I didn't see, but I definitely saw one where the atmospheric pressure obviously changed and the aircraft had to compensate. But it was very smooth. It's not the abrupt one that you get with, the other weather engines. Here's a question. Rodrigo is asking if X-plane takes the temperature of the tarmac into account.
That's a really good question, to be honest, and I haven't had anybody else present that previously, but we know that Zibomod actually does generate tire temperature, but as far as the tarmac temperature and whether that's a parameter the X-plane actually models or not, I'll be honest, I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know then.
That would be
Okay.
a good question for diameter, you know.
And
But yes, that
temperature
would have
and
an effect
pressure.
on rolling resistance.
Yes.
As your tire rubber has, you know, different density based on temperature. And
Temperature.
the real pilot, the real pilots in the group, especially the ones that fly heavy and wide body aircraft, understand that a lot of this has an impact on what we call reverted rubber, which if the aircraft is really heavy, just on a normal takeoff, the tires get so hot that they start to melt, and you have a condition called reverted rubber, where you know your rubber on the surface of the tire actually creates a slippery condition similar to hydroplaning. And when I fly the 747 on any heavyweight takeoff, like if I were taking off at near maximum takeoff weight, as soon as you rotated the airplane, you could smell burnt rubber in the cockpit because that's how hot the tires were getting.
Wow.
Another thought, Twkster, doesn't temperature and pressure also have effect on the amount of thrust at ground idle as well?
To some degree, that's true, except that the EEC, it's one of its primary positions. It is actually controlling the amount of thrust output based on temperature and pressure, altitude, and idle. So it's not running at a set fixture. And then if it was just a set condition like you'd have in a mechanical fuel control, yes, it might actually have reduced thrust in some conditions when the temperature and pressure altitude increase. But the EEC actually is setting the thrust, and then it protects temperature and RPM to some degree, because the RPM at idle is not an issue, but at max takeoff thrust, RPM is an issue because at high EGTs or high TTs, you get down what you call neck down or turbine stretch. So the actual turbine blades that stretch, and they can actually scrape the case at an RPM above what it's rated. And that, of course, obviously causes a lot of engine burn. But at idle, that's not a condition. But yeah, usually the thrust is constant.
Okay, thank you.
At idle, based on the change in temperature and pressure.
So the RPM at ground idle isn't set at a certain percentage, it's variable.
Yeah, based on conditions.
It will vary. Yeah, and that's why if you're in a high and hot destination, if you're in South America at one of the high altitude airports, for instance, you might see that the engine's idling at a higher RPM. That's something that used to happen a lot. We have pilots want to say, oh, well, no, that's not the correct idle RPM. It should be X. And I say, okay, well, what are the airport conditions? Because once again, it sets idle thrust. It does not set idle RPM. Idle RPM creates the product of thrust based on the amount of fuel that's introduced into the engine control. So again, you know, that will vary with pressure, altitude, and temperature.
Yeah. Twkster, when this was a couple of years ago already, I came up with the brilliant plan of doing a high altitude challenge tour for our VA. Okay, and then Zibo came to the party and he actually introduced this high altitude pressurization system so that we could go and do it. Okay, and I tell you what, the guys were all saying to me, what a challenge. And I actually think we must redo it. When it's summer in the Southern Hemisphere, we're going to redo that tour. I'll broadcast it on YouTube for the guys so we can show them the effect that the hot and high density altitude and stuff have on the aircraft, you know. So, yeah, that happened.
Yeah, that was incredibly interesting. Yeah, we need to do that again.
Yeah, that was really nice.
Yeah, you
And-
know, it does. You know, the other thing about it is until we come up with a really good legal copy of flight performance computer for takeoff and landing performance, then a lot of simulator users who don't have the real experience with jet aircraft are not going to have a full comprehension of how performance is limited by temperature and pressure altitude.
Yes.
And,
Well,
and of
Twkster,
course the weight of the aircraft, all these different things. Yeah.
what we did was we put a bunch of guys in one of those hot and high airports, and Jorge was still with us then, right? And we let them loose, but we didn't say anything. Man, we laughed our backsides off because a couple of guys, I won't mention names because some of them are here with us now, they actually crashed. They couldn't even get off the ground because the Zibo modeled it so nicely. You know, they didn't know what hit them.
Well, there you go. You know, like I say, and a lot of that, what allows that to happen is that Laminar has provided an accurate flight physics engine, you know, so that we can, you know, we can come up with fairly predictable performance, because none of that is actually directly programmed. It's all a result of the airfoils and the thrust, right, and the drag. So once we get those fairly close to correct, right, then you can get predictable performance. And we use, as you well aware, you know, when I test this, I actually use Boeing's performance manual for all phases of flight, whether it's takeoff, landings, but also climb, cruise, and descent. We actually use the charts and use that to tune the performance.
Yeah. Just on that note as well, before I forget, and it's part of this discussion, we did the inverse as well. We actually went, because it's summer in the southern hemisphere, we went to the northern hemisphere, somewhere in Norway, close to the Arctic Circle. We actually went to a very short runway where it was like minus 20 degrees Celsius. Okay, and we showed the guys, look how it now turns around and how quickly we can get in the air because the air is so thick here and we can use a shorter runway. We also did that.
Yeah, that's a cool exercise.
Yeah. We've had so much fun with the Zibomod Twkster. It's unreal, man. It's changed our lives. We've had so much fun.
Well, I must admit, Twkster, you and Zibo make a formidable team.
Absolutely.
Well, it was purely by accident, I'll tell you that, because those of you who've been around as for the duration, you know, I was like all the others. I discovered it as a user about 6 months after Zibo started developing it, and you know, I just helped him out with something I thought could improve a problem. One thing led to another, and I was not the official flight model developer originally. Those who've been with the aircraft since the beginning know that. And for whatever reason, the other developer, I'm not, you know, taking any shots at him, but they did not continue to develop the flight model after the initial release in any significant way and solve problems that were showing up. And some of them were pretty big problems that we had to solve. So I started out with a weight and balance solution so that the aircraft would handle properly on the ground. And that started a cascade of changes. And next thing you know, after, I don't know, I guess it was, I don't remember when it was, 4 or 5 months later, I did a complete from scratch flight model for Zibo. And I didn't know what I was doing. I'll be honest about it. I had to learn on the job, right? Quite literally, it was an act of discovery as I went. So I don't claim to be an expert at flight modeling. Only more so, I will say that I'm sort of an expert at flight tuning, and that's just based on my experience and observation of flying the real thing. Not a 737. Those who know me know that I've never flown the 737NG. But I flew the 727, the 238, and the 747. So I've got a pretty good idea how they ought to handle and how they ought to respond. And then I use those personal observations to evaluate what the flight model should be doing, at least in a general sense. And then you rely on the feedback of actual pilots who fly the airplane in real life as to what specific characteristics may differ slightly. So it's a collaborative effort, and I feel very blessed to be helping out Zibo with it. And it's been a great pastime for me whenever I have time, not so much as I used to. But
yeah, we're all blessed.
But,
we all feel blessed.
Especially for a free aircraft, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
One could not have blamed Zibo if he had decided at some point to develop a per pay model.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
But so far, we continue to be blessed with this freeware, right?
Yeah.
Do
Absolutely.
you think Zibo ever realised that he was now bound to this development aircraft for love?
He
Or was
probably
it just
did.
a project to start with?
Yeah.
I mean, we got to admire the fact that he's still with it.
Yeah. Twkster.
There is always something to do.
Yeah, Twkster, bring your mic a bit closer. You're a little bit far now.
I'm sorry, I'm on my cell phone here.
Yeah. No, you just went a bit
is
far.
that
We were struggling. Yeah, much better now.
Yeah, unfortunately, I put my hand over trying to improve my speaker performance on the phone. Put my hand up there, but that was actually blocking my microphone a little bit. I didn't realize it.
No problem.
So yeah, Zibo and I were just discussing a couple of things that he'd like to do in the future, and I mean there are still thousands of things that we can address in this model. So yes, you may be bound for life to this.
Yes.
Anything worth doing takes a while sometimes.
Yeah. Can I just quickly answer the questions quickly? Scotsman, from the one waypoint to the other, there is no path. I actually made a direct to, and I think that is something Zibo can look at because that's where the big jump in the altitude discrepancy happened, is where there was no path. I literally made a direct to. Okay. Not sure why it didn't calculate it properly, but that's for Zibo to look at. And Alex, no. Twkster, you haven't set up a PayPal yet, have you?
No, as a matter of fact, in 7 years, I've never taken a single donation.
Yeah.
And that's not to say that there might not come a time that I do.
Yeah.
But I just have not thought to do that in the past.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, I have some projects that are underway that I may be involved in contributions, but that's a different issue for a different time.
Sure. Okay. Now, the reason I'm asking is because we've had two different people ask the question now on stream and in private now. So I just wanted to confirm. I know that you have not, but I needed you to just tell them.
Oh, I do have a PayPal account. I just haven't advertised it.
Got it. Okay. That's also a difference. Yes. Okay, cool. No problem. Well, we descending now. I am braking quite a bit. I think I might just actually slow down even more because we are very high above profile now.
I haven't been watching as I've been talking here. How is your has your VNAV been handling it here consistently during this descent so far?
What happened was I had a direct to between 2 points because there was no path. Okay, and then what I did notice, it jumped considerably in altitude from the one to the other. So it's like where I had the direct to, I didn't notice the Zibo didn't seem to calculate the path because there was no path. It was a direct tube between 2 points. So I'm not sure if that has anything to do with it, but you can clearly see we are very high, and as we are slowing down, it's even increasing. So as we're slowing down, you know, I'm inducing more drag through the speed brake. We should catch up eventually.
What do me a favor. Do me a favor. Look down. I can't stay on your screen because it's off screen. What's your distance to touchdown in the progress page? Then?
Give me a second. The distance to the touchdown.
Should be right there on that.
Well, it says 67. 67.
Okay, now look at your altitude. Your altitude right now is what, 21?
Yeah, 21 to 80.
Yeah, that times 3 is a minimum of 64 miles. And you're how many miles to touchdown?
65 now.
You're
65.
almost on path.
Yes,
You're
almost.
right on path. So what the problem you're seeing is that this your VNAV indicator here is not working. That is not correct. But you're actually right on profile.
Okay. So that again just points that Zibo needs to look at something here.
Yeah, and it maybe have to do with, you know, I mean, if you're going to fly the base turn course reversal here, it shows you going from Brent outbound and then flying a base turn return to the runway. It may not be calculating that part. And if it's not doing that, for whatever reason, then that would amount to the problem you're seeing in that discrepancy.
Correct.
So I would just let it fly as it is right now.
It's calculating that. It's calculating that Twkster.
Okay. Well, let it run. Let it run.
Now take a look at your legs page. Does your legs page have any crossing restriction that's above the 3-year profile?
Yeah, it's got a 1,800 above at Brent, which is the next waypoint over there. But that's about it.
You know, that shouldn't limit you, right? So just stay on the path, and that will correct itself.
Yeah,
that may be something that you need to address.
To look at. Yeah.
Because that above, see Brent to Brent, 1,800 above, and then 1,700 above, which is the inbound.
Check your mic. Check your mic, Twkster. Check your mic.
Okay. Is that better?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a calculation issue, but you're right on profile. So the VNAV is managing it because that 1,800 is not mandatory, right? So
yes.
As long as your distance to touchdown, you don't have a higher restriction at an intermediate point, then you're looking good.
Okay. Scotsman, I did run through it, which is why it is strange. I just mentioned the direct tube because there was no path, and then obviously Twkster filled in. He did the coloring of the whole picture, and then Zibo can go have a look and see if he can spot something. It's easy as that. Hello Nevada Rocks, welcome. All right, Twkster, I'm happy. I'm going to leave it as is. I'm not going to fiddle with it because I don't want to give a skew indication of what the actual code was doing. So I'm just going to let it run, let it do its thing. We'll fix it when we get to the runway threshold and we're 5,000 foot high, you know. Then we'll go around and try again.
Yeah, well, I don't think it will be because, like I say, if you do that personal calculation I just mentioned, right now you're coming out of 14.4, so at about 43 miles, and your touchdown right now is distance to touchdown on the progress
45.
what?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're right on profile.
Yeah.
And by the way, this is exactly what I do in real life. I never trust VNAV because VNAV can be affected by programming errors, which is pilot error. So, and it's pretty common, right? That the pilot accidentally misprograms it in some way and then forgets to check it. So I always do this 3/1 calculation to the nearest restriction to make sure that that's accurate.
Yeah,
and then of
100%.
course, in some cases you have to leave a little extra space for slowing the aircraft, but basically that 3/1 is a savior.
Absolutely.
It'll point out where you got problems.
Absolutely. Look how we are diving like crazy, but we're almost on path according to VNAV now anyway. You see, according to the calculation there.
Yeah. And of course, when you hit 10,000, you should be somewhere, depending on the aircraft you're flying, somewhere between 5 and 10 miles over 30. So 30 miles plus 5 or 10, depending on the aircraft. And you're looking really good. So.
Yeah, we just fast. Okay. Nevada rocks, yes, it's always a work in progress. But things like that gets double checked by the real pilot. So unless you can prove that it's fast, nothing is going to happen, you know. So if you are a pilot in the real world, go put a video that you made on the forum and show Zibo, because we all know that the aircraft differs, eh? And we've seen it so many times. Same aircraft, same design, and then you get the one does it this way and the other one that way, and it's weird. So if you can prove that it's wrong, put it on the forum. Zibo will look at it. It's slowing down. My heart almost sank there. It was going so fast, but it's cool. We're getting there.
That's one of the downsides of doing a direct too, is, you know, if it's a shorter distance, then where you slow down or begin this speed reduction is also affected. So when the way I test the flight model for accuracy is I use a zero wind scenario, and then I actually fly the arrivals with zero wind, but it starts with no arrival at all, just doing a profile descent. You know, a 3-degree profile descent, and make sure that the aircraft holds speed at idle thrust, etc. But there are lots of, obviously, conditions that can affect the way the VNAV functions. And in real life, they don't function consistently either. I think all of the real 737 drivers that are in your audience know that. You know, you sometimes have to be a pilot, and you have to interject your skill sets in order to fix little issues that come up in the profile.
Absolutely. One of the things that we looked at a few times in the Zibomod development with Zibo and with Sasso was that Sasso warned him once or twice that I know of, that he told Zibo, don't make it too perfect, because the real VNAV isn't perfect, you know. And, you know, it was one thing that he said, look out for that.
And that's just it, you know. You know, the most imperfect part of the vertical navigation system is the pilot, right? Because, like I said, if we don't program it and then evaluate what we've programmed for accuracy, this is a common problem with fairly new pilots to professional aviation, I should put it that way, lesser experienced pilots, I'll say it that way. When they first get into this, an advanced flight deck with vertical navigation and auto throttles and all these things, it's very easy to just push buttons and not evaluate that the automation is actually going to do and does do what you intended it to do.
Exactly.
We never stop being a pilot. We're always following one step ahead of the airplane all the time.
Exactly. Scotsman, I know it's my fault because I didn't intervene. The problem is, if I intervene now, then I'm not giving Zibo a fair representation of what the aircraft is doing. So, you know. Anyway, Twkster, you're talking about the children of the magenta line again. You know, we all know about the story of the children of the magenta line.
Yeah, it's LNAV and VNAV. Both of those profiles need constant evaluation by the pilot. And then, like you say, you're coming downhill and maybe the airplane's a little too fast because the winds, even if you had a good wind estimate in there, sometimes the wind is not what was forecast. So, and that happens. So we end up intervening by using different techniques. And of course, one of the common ones is pull the speed brake lever, right?
Yeah.
To get the airplane to start slowing back on profile if that's necessary. But whatever it takes, right?
Of course.
Whatever it takes.
this is how I train. This is how I train my pilots as well. You got to do what you got to do, because I mean, speaking of the speed brake, I mean, it's a hazing thing that people get stuck in their mind with, you know, the lever of shame, you know, and then they go into the big wide world and they think they shouldn't pull it. But I mean, hell, that's what it was made for. Pull it when you have to pull it, you know.
Yeah, you do that. You know, pilots do have a thing about that. You know, it's the old. You know, I don't want to make the passengers uncomfortable thing, but it's also, to be honest, before we had this much automation, it was all the pilot who was controlling how this all happened. And we used to have regular, what we call beer challenges when I was a 747 pilot. We come into Anchorage, Alaska about 4 o'clock in the morning. There's no traffic, and ATC would give us whatever we want. And then we'd tell them when we wanted to start descent, and whoever the flying pilot was, the challenge was that he would come across the final approach fix at idle thrust, right? Gear down, set landing flaps, set the thrust at 1,000 feet, right? And be stable. And if he couldn't keep that power lever at idle throughout the entire descent, he owed the crew a beer, right? And we did that a lot. And because the main reason we did it was to challenge ourselves to plan as accurately as possible the vertical management on the airplane, because in the really big airplanes, it makes a huge difference on the amount of energy, which means fuel. How much fuel are you going to burn? So an idle descent all the way down to the final approach fix is the most desired outcome.
Yeah, that.
If you got to pull the speed brake lever, you pull the speed brake lever. You know?
Yeah, you got to do what you got to do. That's the thing. Yeah. You are the pilot in command. Anyway, hello, John. Welcome. I know you're messing with me, Scotsman. I'm playing the game with you. And yeah, energy management, Christer, you're very correct. If you don't do your energy management correctly, you see your backside. Anyway, we're on the localizer. We 9 DME out. I suppose we need to make sure that we land this puppy now. We don't. Twkster, I don't know if you saw my video from last night where we did the particle test and we actually belly flopped the Zibomod. Did you see that?
No, I didn't. That was with the 0.42 or 0.41?
No, 4.2A yesterday. Zibo wanted to check it out. We had some fun, and I dragged the birds and the deer and everything in here. So just do yourself a favor, go watch the last 10 minutes or so of that last stream, the previous stream. It was fun there by Porto. It was crazy. It's stupid, but it was fun.
Well,
you dragged the birds in.
Sorry, Twkster?
I said your profile worked out great here.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, I can't complain.
Nico dragged the birds in last night, and we had one actually started an engine fire.
Yeah, the Zibo crashed. It went down. Bloody birds.
There's no deer jumping in the engine anyway.
No. They were just on the ground. Fortunately, it's not Santa's deers.
Looking at your landing lights.
Ready for landing checklist.
The other thing, Twkster, was the engines don't bury themselves in the runway now. They actually sit on the surface.
Yeah.
Well, that was one of the issues that was trying to be addressed and brought up in this flight model change.
Right. Well, it's worked.
1,000 feet stabilized with SuperChat.
And of course, my other flight model fuselage was not a body; it was just a narrow dynamic tool.
Yeah.
And we couldn't use the laminar fuselage because it would completely mess up the. Along with it, it would completely mess up the drag and lift. So this one fixes all of that. And it was just because Zibo asked about it that I happened to actually see a solution to fix Laminar's model after I was at least tune it so that it would work. And so I'm happy about that.
400.
Right, there we go. There we go.
300 decision height.
Minimum.
100. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Speed brake up. Reverse unlocked. Auto brake in use.
Later valve.
Knots. Yan. Great landing. You are professional.
God. That wasn't too bad.
No, it was very good, Nika. Twkster, is there anything changed in the flight model which means we ought to go back and do land 3 landing just to see how automation works?
Well, I'd be my guest to check that. Of course, before I sent the FM to Zibo, I actually did almost all of the landings with the auto land, just to make sure that it was compatible with the current state of the Zibo's programming. But yeah, be my guest. We obviously want to discover anything that might show up that would be an issue. I had a question there for Nico, though. What was your landing weight on that?
Landing weight? Oh, now you're asking me.
Yeah, just look at your tablet there in the.
Oh yes, of course. That's the easiest way of finding that.
Yeah, in your payload section and see what it says.
67,098 kilos. Let's say 67,100. It was too much. I was overweight, of course, yeah.
Yeah. The reason why I asked for that is because I noticed it was carrying about 61.5% N1, and that's the only reason why I was asking. Obviously, when the aircraft is heavier, it should be up there. The guys who actually fly the airplane, this is one of the things you don't find in the charts, for instance, typically, except in one place in the training manual, where there's a chart on some conditions. But these are the kind of things where feedback from the real line pilots is helpful. When we go to tune things like, what kind of N1 should it take on final approach with flaps 30 or flaps 40 at various weights. So, and at 60 tons, that should have been somewhere around 58%. So
correct.
That's the only reason I asked. That makes sense that at your heavier weight.
No,
but that's
100%.
also part of your challenge on coming downhill and slowing down, right? The heavier the airplane is, they tend to gain speed. You can pull the power all the way back to idle. And especially if the descent profile is any steeper than 3 degrees, you may have a hard time keeping the airplane on speed. But so that's one of the things that you will note, right? Is the heavier airplane will tend to be have a little more difficulty maintaining the path. Now, if the VNAV is programmed correctly, and I shouldn't say correctly from the pilot's standpoint, but if there are no errors in the vertical path, rise over run, so to speak, then the VNAV should take that into account at the heavier aircraft, that it has to change the VNAV profile a little bit.
Correct.
Feedback from the actual NG drivers out there about this issue is helpful, because what they're seeing every day on the line flying the airplane under these various conditions, is very helpful to me. That's one of the things that I lack, is getting enough. I could always use more feedback on that stuff.
Yeah.
Sasso was a very good. He remembered a lot of the power settings for different weights and approaches and so forth, wasn't he, Nico?
Yeah. No, he was always on his fingertips.
Yeah.
He's so busy now.
Yeah. Yeah, but he's doing what he loves, eh? That's the main thing.
Absolutely.
Gents, when I park, I just want to quickly bring the browser back up. I had it on the screen, but I never had a chance to discuss it with you guys. I just want to show you this high altitude challenge tour. So if you guys want to take a screenshot and maybe go try it, try your luck and go see what it's all about, I will stream it. Once summer comes back to the southern hemisphere, we'll show you guys how this hot and high story and density altitude works and all. But this high altitude tour is one heck of a challenge. You know. So once I park, I'll just put that on screen quickly for you.
Nico, if you don't mind, I have to sign off. I've got some other things that I have to run and do.
No problem, sir.
And it's always good to talk to you and field any questions that people have. And sorry I'm not here more often, but I do it when I can.
Yeah, no problem. No problem.
It's been great to catch up with you, Twkster. Always
absolutely
lot of information and knowledge you share with us.
Thank you for stopping by.
Thank you. I'm always learning too, right? I've learned new things every day, and you know, if they have anything to do with how the Zibo flies, then I'll put it in. I'll apply it. We'll be working on continuing to tune this flight model. So far, it looks like it's performing well. So, you know, it really comes down to fine tuning at this point.
Yep. Thank you.
I haven't done any takeoff and landing, engine failure stuff, that kind of thing yet with this fuselage. See how it reacts. So
no, that's fine. That's fine. We put it in the release notes as Zibo gave it to me. It's a work in progress. The guys need to understand that there's going to be changes over time, and that's it. That's how life goes with the Zibomod.
Yeah, well, your fuel burns might be a little bit light until I get a chance to tune that, because I know that the drag model still needs a little bit of tuning. So
no problem.
It should be pretty close, but it might be a little light.
No problem. That's fantastic. Thank you so much thus far.
You're welcome, and you guys all take care.
Thanks, Twkster. Stay well. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now.
Amazing. While Linda's doing that, let me quickly put this stuff back on screen for you guys. See if you guys are interested. This is the high altitude challenge tour. If you're part of the VA, you guys are welcome to fly the tour, obviously, and get your little certificate, brownie points, or merit badge or something, whatever you get at the end of it. But this is the tour, you know. So it's very challenging. Trust me. Some of these airports go up to 14,000 foot in density altitude, and that's almost crazy to fly, to land and take off at that altitude in a Boeing. But you guys are welcome to go and try it. This is the map, just to show you guys. These are the flights.
You're not sharing it on Discord, Nick.
I know. It's on, what's his name? Let me change my screen. Change window. Okay, you should see it now.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So that's what it looks like. So it's a bit of a crisscross, and then it ends somewhere there. I think we fly from the bottom up. Yes. So this is the tour, and it is very challenging. And the one thing that I can say is the Zibo with this extra facility. This is an option in the EFB. You have to enable the high altitude pressurization system. Otherwise, you're going to have a fairy tale, you know. And this is the only 737 in any simulation that actually simulates this particular pressurization system. So we are blessed with that. Thank you, Zibo, again for doing that for us. He was a real champ coming to the party when we did that tour. So it's one of those nice things about the Zibomod. Right, Rodrigo, thank you so much for joining us. It was nice having your input as well. Everybody else on the stream, I'm not going to name all the names now because there's plenty of you guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for being here and watching, enjoying it with us. You guys are awesome. Thank you for enjoying the Zibomod. Thank you for using it. You know, it's something that we obviously love to do, to put together and all those things. And if you like it, then awesome. But I know you do, so thank you. Thank you for all your support. Guys on Discord, thank you everybody for being here. Thanks for all your input as well. And the guys flying with Laurie, Owen, are you guys still flying?
I landed. It
You
was
landed.
superb, Nico.
Good.
I'm just doing the procedural turn.
Okay. Great. So guys, enjoy. We'll speak to you soon again. And obviously there will be a Zibo patch in future. Zibo, again, thank you for all your work. Would be nice to fix that particles of the APU. And yeah, that's it. Let's go sleep.
Yeah. Thank you, Nico, for everything. Yeah. Bye-bye.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yes, it's out. It's in torrents. It's in both of the Google Drives. So you guys are welcome to go and download it and enjoy it. Until tomorrow. Guys, tomorrow morning, if God is willing, 700 Zulu, we're flying somewhere in Africa. So you guys are welcome to come join us again and even fly with if you really want to. Speak to you then. Bye-bye.
Bye, Nico.
Bye.